Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Infinity, and this is Magnetize Yourself, where we talk about life, love, spirituality, and of course, the law of attraction. In today's video, I am doing a reading and energy update for our beautiful collective here on YouTube. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I am sending you huge amounts of love and light energy, regardless of where you are in the world. So I'm going to start today by shuffling the Energy Oracle Cards deck. And I right away have been getting a really strong but fairly specific download for a certain group of divine feminines. And this is a message for someone specific who has been connecting with or dealing with a particular masculine energy in some kind of a romantic sense. And for some reason, this masculine is coming up as feeling as though something about your connection is messing up the plans that they thought they had for themselves and their life. But when I say messing up, it's almost in like a teasing kind of way. So I hope that I can explain this correctly, but it's like someone saying you wrecked all of my plans or you're messing up all of my plans, but meaning it in a joking way, because what is actually meant by this sentiment is that this is a masculine who wasn't prepared to meet a feminine energy like yourself. And they were completely caught off guard by you, by this connection. And it's like I'm hearing them say, this is going to be a problem for me. So this is someone who recognizes that your energy is going to linger with them, which of course was the title of the last collective reading that I did as well. So for some of you who did listen to that last reading, there could be some connection points or correlations here. But this is someone who is truly mesmerized by you and by your energy. The word unique is coming out. So there are certain elements to you that they find to be incredibly unique and alluring. So again, I feel I might just be speaking to a specific group here, but for whoever you are, I do want to shuffle and channel a few messages. Wow, we have Magician and the Mirror upright. So the reason I sighed is because I am feeling pummeled by the intensity of the energy between the two of you. I'm hearing it's very electric. That if the two of you have touched in any kind of capacity, even in a very light platonic way, like accidentally brushing knees or arms or something like that, even the smallest touches with this person feel electrifying to the both of you. And it's because you are picking up on this very strong current of energy that is running between the two of you. I'm hearing someone say, I never knew I could be this attracted to someone in a physical sense. So that could be something that this masculine is saying, or something that you are saying, divine feminine. But I do feel that in many cases, this is actually a mutual sentiment, something that you are both feeling. With this card specifically, though, I got a very interesting message, which is the reason that the two of you have either connected or reconnected at this point in time is because whether both of you realize it fully and consciously or not, you are both on a very divine path. And what I'm getting is you, divine feminine, may be very conscious of being on this highly sacred path, whereas the masculine coming up here, they may not even realize that they are on a divine path. The masculine tends to go through so much of their awakening process incredibly unconsciously, meaning it's happening behind the scenes, beneath the surface. It's sometimes compared to baking a cake or baking something in the oven, where you leave it kind of there and it begins to bake over the course of time, but during that time you're not really visibly seeing it until it's like this finished form and it's completed. I know this isn't a perfect metaphor, but the masculine often goes through their awakening as though they are being like transformed behind the scenes, beneath the surface, subconsciously, and then they come forward fully baked, so to speak, in this kind of cooking metaphor. But the reason the two of you have met or connected is because your paths have intersected along your individual sacred paths that you are walking. So this is a masculine who I sense has gone through a lot of upheaval or change in their life, even prior to this point of meeting or this point of reconnection. And all of this has actually been part of an ego death process for them. I'm also hearing that they've been heavily working on themselves, and you, even in separation or in not knowing this person, have been undergoing some of the same experiences. So it's almost like when the two of you meet or reconnect, you are actually surprisingly at very similar places mentally and emotionally and in regards to your unique path. And you may really bond over these similarities in your mindset, in your values at this time, in your current path. I have to say, I'm getting a lot of twin flame energy, but of course, this doesn't have to be a twin flame situation. Since that is coming up, I will most likely put that term twin flame in the title of the video, but do keep in mind that only you can know for yourself whether or not this is a twin flame connection, and that when I use that term, I simply mean a soul that shares an identical core soul frequency to your own. And therefore, there are a lot of parallel experiences that are manifested between the two of you. I just get the sense of wanting to drop everything for each other, and also being this kind of counterbalance to one another. Now, on this concept of dropping everything, once again, it's that idea of wrecking each other's plans. It's like, if this is someone you've already met, on both sides, this meeting occurred when neither of you were expecting it or even really prepared for it. And it kind of came in like a bulldozer into both of your lives. If this isn't someone that you've met yet, this is someone who meets you and has that kind of intense impact on you. The ironic thing is, what I see here is that the both of you are at times in your head wondering, is this other person feeling the same way? Are they experiencing what I'm experiencing? I'm hearing too serious too soon. So this person may be recognizing that the way they are feeling for you is much more serious and much more intense than really matches the linear timeline in this lifetime that they've known you. And of course, that is because of the soul bond, and also because of a lot of past life history. Very specifically, I'm picking up for someone on a past life in the 1800s. And I feel that in that lifetime, this masculine was very much a caregiver for the divine feminine and really provided a lot of stability for her and protection. And there was just this natural desire to protect and care for the divine feminine in that lifetime. And those are some of the lingering feelings that are surfacing from that subconscious aspect of ourselves, from that soul self that has unconsciously stored all of those past life memories. It's almost like because of that past life, this masculine naturally desires to be caring and protective of you, divine feminine, in this lifetime. Now, the interesting thing is this connection seems to be highlighting aspects in the both of you that haven't been highlighted by other connections, at least not in this kind of way. So what I mean by that is, for you, Divine Feminine, this seems to be a masculine energy that naturally allows you to relax into your feminine essence, to feel protected, to feel safe. Again, because this is someone who naturally desires to protect you and to defend you and keep you safe. And they themselves can't really explain why they are feeling that way towards you, especially if this connection is really new in this lifetime. So for you, Divine Feminine, this masculine may really highlight your creative spirit, your free-flowing, receptive, feminine essence, your ability to be soft in a sense. Now, on the flip side of this masculine finds that in your presence, again, there is this strong urge to protect, to care for you, to support you, to be gentle with you in a way that I feel they have not found themselves desiring to be with other feminine energies. And the reason that you highlight these parts of each other that are coming out so uniquely in this connection is because there is this divine counterpart kind of connection here. So the two of you, whether it is a twin flame or not, there's this balance between you where it's almost like qualities in one another offset each other in really beautiful ways. And overall, there is just this sense of feeling really good in each other's presence. Like, I just keep feeling this masculine say that being around you just feels so right or feels so good. However, for some reason, there's also a really strong element of total uncertainty here. So while there are so many good feelings flowing that are highly mutual, while there seems to be this intense feeling that is almost electrifying here, there is also uncertainty because of a level of denial. With the denial card, repressed emotions, it's like someone is afraid to fully lean into the depth of what they are feeling, trying to keep something on the surface that is inherently very deep. And this is leading to a lot of internal conflicts. I feel this comes back to that sense of wrecking each other's plans, where this came completely out of the blue. It's unexpected. It might not fit into what either of you imagined that your lives would look like at this point. It just has the sense of being such a detour, but in the most beautiful, magical, fulfilling kind of way. And there's a part of this masculine that is still wanting to hold on to the track that they were following, even as they're so enjoying being entirely derailed by this connection and by this situation. There could be something about their social environment involved here as well, because we do have the community card. So they might be trying to tell themselves that something about this connection is perhaps very circumstantial or related to just the way in which you two met, or maybe there was something that happened between you, or something about your meeting that in itself was just unusual or interesting. And they might be wondering if their feeling of mesmerization is simply, again, something on the surface. It's like they're searching so hard, trying to pin down what it is about you and what it is about this connection that they can't seem to get out of their mind. But the thing is, they're not going to be able to do this, because ultimately this masculine is going to fully, consciously recognize that there is just something deeper here. In fact, I feel that you, Divine Feminine, are this person's deepest soul connection they've ever consciously experienced in this lifetime. So that may or may not be the case for you personally, but to this masculine, it's almost like they've never met someone that they share this kind of a connection with at the soul. And again, the reason that they ran into you on the physical plane is because they've been committing to themselves. They've been on this path of spiritual expansion and development. So as we've been channeling in many recent reading videos, when someone quantum connected to you, meaning someone who has a soul connection to you and is therefore closer to you in this collective web of consciousness, begins to seek out a higher timeline and begins to ask the universe consciously or subconsciously for growth, for the manifestation of certain soul-aligned dreams or desires, very often the universe will send them you, and you will find yourself connecting with this person either in consciousness, in the astral realm, or physically, whether it's a brief conversation, a meeting, even just passing each other on the street. Because Divine Feminine, what you need to understand is your energy is so powerful that even when someone simply locks eyes with you, there is an exchange happening at the energetic level. And this can actually boost that person, so to speak, or help to heal them and to open their heart and to align them more with their true inner self. That is why you are being asked not to underestimate any interaction you have with others that you feel guided to, that feels really aligned for you. Because even the interactions that seem the smallest hold a huge amount of potential to assist others along their path. And again, it has to do with that energetic exchange that happens whenever someone is being given the gift of even just being physically in your presence, let alone having the chance to have a conversation or long-term interaction with you. So as I've been saying, Divine Feminine, be sure to recognize this value of your energy and to remember that connecting with you is a gift, not a given, as I shared in one of my recent Instagram posts. By the way, you can follow me on Instagram at Magnetize Yourself, where I post energy updates, inspiration, and information. But I am going to go ahead and reshuffle the cards here, and I want to see if I can channel more about this situation. So this is a masculine who, there's something here coming up about the relationship with their mother. This won't be the case for all the masculines involved here, but for some of them, this is someone who always felt a strong desire to protect or care for a mother figure who perhaps non-intentionally, it may have been intentional in some cases, but in most cases, unintentionally put a lot of pressure or a lot of burden on this masculine to be a support for them, even from a really young age, whether that was physically or emotionally. This is someone who has felt a lot of weight on their shoulders or a lot of pressure in their life. And it's almost the sense of them trying to escape all of it. And when it comes to you, I see that being in your presence makes them feel so light because you lift that burden from them without realizing that you're doing it. Just your presence causes this person to feel light, to feel free, to feel as though they are no longer burdened by their daily stresses and pressures. And it's almost like your presence teleports them to this magical, beautiful place where nothing exists but the two of you, and where they feel this deep connection, not just to you, but to some lost aspects of their own internal self. It's like what's really happening quite literally is somewhat that. It is because of the energy exchange between the two of you, even when you're together in a physical environment, speaking or moving about, your energy exchange is causing you both to kind of pass this energy back and forth that vibrates you to a really high level and actually causes you to be experiencing almost like fifth dimensional levels of consciousness and existence while you are still physically present with each other. This is also why when you are together with this person, you will notice that you feel at times as though there is no one in the room but the two of you. However, I will say that when there are other people around you, other people notice this connection. Whether they realize it's the connection that they're noticing or not, they can perceive this exchange of energy taking place between the two of you. The word intoxicating is coming up here. So this is a masculine who finds you very intoxicating and addicting. It's like a book that they don't want to put down. It's like they might try to tell themselves that this is superficial or to explain it away. But every time they get around you, they feel absolutely intoxicated by you. And that is just the best way that I can describe it. So this is someone who is struggling a little bit to feel worthy of the level of happiness that they experience when they're around you. And there's also some amount of caution here that I really want to channel into, because I'm wondering why I'm getting that this masculine is feeling cautious. Okay, so they really want to move forward into action. In fact, their heart wants to move faster than their head feels comfortable, is really what I'm getting with the action card. I'm hearing the cart before the horse expression. It's like from their perspective, you make them want to get so far out ahead of themselves. But with financial constraints upright, there is something that this person is feeling stifled or limited by when it comes to taking those actions. So because this is the financial constraints card, this could literally be their financial situation, their work situation, maybe their work obligations, or they feel as though they have to be really laser focused on their career or on stabilizing themselves financially at this time. Now, if that doesn't apply, it might be that they're feeling limited by something else. So something about the environment, the circumstances, the other factors involved here might be causing this person to feel limited and therefore a little hesitant. But with the cornucopia card, I'm hearing everything I've ever wanted. This is a masculine who looks at you and sees everything that they've ever wanted. And I'm hearing even things that they didn't know that they needed. Wow, very beautiful message. And the thing is, I feel once again that this has been very mirrored, that you, Divine Feminine, find yourself at times feeling the same way. There's absolutely a lot of mirroring happening between the two of you here. The strange thing though is I feel that there will be these periods of time where you both get very restless because you can both feel the energy so strongly. When there is a silence, or when you part ways, or when you aren't physically actively connecting in the 3D, this might actually cause you both to feel very restless, wondering what the other person is thinking or feeling, even having some doubts that come up about whether you are losing your mind here, feeling such a deep connection to this person. But the thing is, when you get into their presence, there is such unspoken, or perhaps in some cases spoken, but often unspoken, deep mutual understanding of the meaning of this bond. Again, even if it's not said out loud, I feel there are many other ways that this message is transmitted between the two of you. It's like a mutual understanding. It transcends even needing to be described in words. Specifically, this may be something that you get through very small gestures from this masculine, or through a certain look in their eyes. I'm getting that their eyes might light up or soften or seem warmer while they're speaking to you, or they may be very attentive to you or to caring for you in very small ways. These are things that they seem to do completely unconsciously. And that is how you can tell as well that they are genuine, because you can tell being around this masculine that not only do they not fully realize that they are doing these little things that are communicating how deeply they feel here, but at times they're even trying to stop themselves from behaving in those ways, again, because there are potentially those limiting factors that might be causing them to feel a little restricted when it comes to taking action here. So with the hostilities card reversed, what I'm getting in a very general sense is that there is such a deep sense of peace between the two of you. It's like, yes, there is that electricity. There is that restlessness also when you're apart, but that's almost because your souls are trying to be together. It's like they're trying to merge. And so you feel restless in each other's absence. But when you're together, that restlessness, those doubts, those feelings of confusion just seem to melt. And it's replaced by this calm, stabilizing sense of knowing. It's like, the best way I can describe this is when you're apart, you might feel restless, you might feel doubtful, but when you're together, there is a mutual understanding that feels like absolute knowing. That is because there is a super strong bond of telepathy here between the two of you as well. In fact, you may actually notice that at times, one or the both of you will say something that the other is thinking, or that is just in line with something that the other may have been thinking about recently. And you may even notice this masculine confirming that by saying, wow, I was just wondering about that, or I was just thinking about that, or asking if you're reading their mind, even if they're saying it as a joke. It's because the two of you are communicating so dominantly through your energy that the words, it's almost like they aren't necessary. They're just the surface layer, and most of the communication is happening beneath that surface layer. But again, I'm getting that the telepathy is absolutely at its strongest when the two of you are physically in proximity of one another, and your souls feel such a deep peace being close to each other, which I feel is why there is this highlighted feeling of restlessness when you are apart. It's only that you feel restless when you're apart because being together feels so right and feels so peaceful. So what else can I channel for the beautiful divine feminines? Pillar of light. Your vibration is rising. You are the oracle. And we have starseed. What lights you up? So you may have a nagging feeling about something without really knowing the source or understanding consciously from a logical perspective why you are feeling what you are feeling. And increasingly, especially as we are on this ascension path and shifting into higher levels of consciousness, we are being asked to lean into those intuitive nudges. When you feel that voice within you saying, go talk to that person, make a connection there, tell them how you're feeling, or pursue that dream, create that thing, whatever it is for you personally. Trust those little impulses, because you are reaching a point where you are very able to consciously and clearly hear your intuition, even more so than your human mind understands. What I mean by that is often you will receive information before your mind is ready to validate and confirm that information. But what you will find as well is that you will begin to make the correlation between these small intuitive choices that you made and how things worked out. Times that you may have chosen not to move forward with a person or a project or a job because it just didn't feel right and you couldn't understand why. But then later on down the line, things were illuminated to you that made all of that make sense. Equally, there may be times you feel this irresistible pull to do something, to create something, and you don't know why, but you see later on why that impulse needed to be expressed and why that was coming up for you. I'm also seeing that following through on the things that really light you up, that bring you joy, that feel fulfilling to you is so essential without necessarily knowing exactly where they're going to go or how they're going to pan out. I'm just hearing to really follow that feeling of passion to its fullest extent, even if you can't see its logical conclusion, because the passion in itself is indicating to you that you are living in alignment with more of your core soul blueprint, your true frequency. And as a result of that, you are aligning with higher vibrational timelines. And on those higher timelines, the trajectories are already set to the perfect harmonious unfoldment of all your wildest goals, dreams, desires, connections, etc., even those that you have not consciously defined. The universe knows your desires, even the ones that are subtle, that are passing thoughts, that are forgotten, or that have never even been consciously thought about or expressed, but simply are there unconsciously beneath the surface. And the way to connect in with timelines that contain the fulfillment of all of those conscious and unconscious desires is to follow your passion, to allow yourself to align with those frequencies of passion, happiness, joy, connection, unconditional love. Again, without needing to lock yourself into specific conclusions or outcomes. So in the extended version of this reading, we have a lot more ground to cover because I want to talk, first of all, a bit more in the extended reading about this dominant connection to this masculine that's been coming through here. So if you were connecting with those messages in the extended version, we're going to take a closer look at their deeper thoughts and feelings, including the ones that they may have been repressing. Also, knowing that the two of you have met at this intersecting point in your timelines because of how you've both been committed to your growth and evolution, we're going to dive into where this could potentially move forward into the future, whether your timelines could align potentially in the future. So short-term future and long-term future potentials will be channeled on Patreon as well. And in addition to that, I am going to be channeling more higher self and spirit guide messages for your current life path, especially for those of you who identify as starseeds, light workers, creative beings, creating authentically from your heart here on planet Earth at this time. And so we'll be looking into anything you might need to know about those current paths and processes. So the link to that extended reading is in the pinned comment and description box underneath this video. But for now, I am going to be pulling one final Rumi Oracle card to close out this reading. So what is one final card to close the reading today? We have the card Blood Angel. So I'm just going to be reading a little bit from the guidebook here. In the midst of the darkness, a moon appeared with its brilliance. Stepping down from the clouds, it glanced at me like a falcon that hunts a bird and steals it away. It captured me and flew back to infinite space. As I looked for myself, I could not find me, for my body had become all soul in the tenderness of love. The 9 spheres of heaven dissolved in that moon as the ship of my existence drowned in the sea of love. Rumi. And the guidebook also says, when opening up to receive more, one needs to empty out what has been to allow for a new influx of energy. It is not about an exchange of equal measure, for you will receive according to the great generosity of life itself, and thus even more shall be offered in compensation for what you are willing to release. However, release must take place. Balance is the natural law. The sunset makes way for a time of night that might be the darkness of grief or the stirring of unknown places within that only reveal themselves in clarity the following morning. You have outgrown what has been, and it cannot satisfy your soul anymore. Wow, that feels like a beautiful place to close the reading. Again, if you do feel guided to it, the link to the extended reading is in the pinned comment and description box underneath this video. Of course, if you resonate with my energy, I invite you to subscribe to the channel, join our beautiful community of like-minded, conscious, creative beings here on YouTube. Otherwise, have a beautiful remainder of your day and weekend, and I will connect with you here again in Monday's reading.